All right, kind of toasty back in the shop. Got my air's going as hard as it can. It's like 100 degrees outside, about 80 or 90 in here, probably 85, 90 in here. I'm building this tray for a customer. This is the start of it. I got to put the sides on it still, which I've already pre-cut. And I've also got to stain the sides, but I haven't stained them yet, mainly because I'm going to put a logo on the wood here, and it's easy to put the logo on without the sides on it. But I've already got them pre-cut, and they'll go just like this right here. I'm going to close it in. I put handles on it. Of course, these will be stained the same color as the tray. We cut at 45-degree angles. What I did, this is the first tray I made like this. I made a tabletop like this one time. It's just got that pattern on it with the boards crisscross sort of. A lot of times it's easy. It's just as easy to build this out of pallet wood. Pallet wood comes in handy for this type of project. But first thing I did was I got on the back just a base piece of plywood for my base. Something like this right here. This one's a little bit warped, so I wasn't able to use it. I had to throw it out. But in order to get this pattern with these kind of type of boards, I would just get different pieces of 1x to do this project with. I start just lining them up on my little support bottom right here. Basically just line them up like this right here. Start off with that. You get another board and then run it down through here. Just crisscross them every other board. Of course, these things are going to want to fall while I'm trying to do this, but let's see. Support this up a little bit. Just run them just the opposite of each other to make basically like an arrow. Just something like this right here. Just slide it up a little bit. Get them back together. This is just get the design layout pretty much before I actually secure them to the wood. My background board. And just keep going like this right here and basically makes an arrow shape. And what I do, the top pieces, I cut a separate piece to fill in the top part up there. Same with down here is like a little triangular piece that's missing. So I cut it off of one of the other boards, one of the slack off of the boards here. But what I do is I temporarily brad nail them down just to get an idea of what it's going to look like and hold them all in place, because I go run it through my table saw. I measure, I mark, I score the part down through here that's even with the backboard, just the size of the tray the person wants. I take it to the table saw and I run the table saw down the line and it cuts all this excess off on both sides, like right down through here, to cut all that excess off. And then it gives you the same size as your background, as the backdrop. And then with the brad nails, it's easy just to pull them all up, and then I run glue underneath all of it. Then I go back and brad nail it again. But that's basically how I make the trays and the tabletops like this. This looks a little rough because the wood's not sanded, and some of the pieces are thinner than the other. So when I build these things, I use all the same thickness of board, of course, so to look right. So you don't want it all messy. But that's basically how I make these tables. And then, of course, I sand it over with 80 grit sandpaper. Then I sand it again with 120 sandpaper. But it just, like I said, run through the table saw and it cuts off the slack off, making little pieces that go up here out of leftovers. And that's pretty much it.